Today we're making Mexico's favorite sandwich, the torta. But not just any old torta, Torta Ahogada, which is translated drowned sandwich, which doesn't sound pleasant, but trust me, it is awesome. Torta Ahogada is a sandwich that is filled with carnitas or carne asada or even vegetables, and it's drowned in this tomato chili broth, and it is amazing. Let me show you how to make that broth right now.
Usually Roma tomatoes are used, but I'm using vine ripened tomatoes for maximum flavor. I have here about 6 tomatoes. Simply cut them in half. Place tomatoes in a medium sauce pot. Peel and rough chop 1 yellow onion. Add the onions to the pot. Peel 4 cloves of garlic. And add them to the pot. This is chile de árbol, which is one of the spicier Mexican chilies. Remove the stems. I like it spicy, so I'm using about 15 chilies. However, if you want a milder sauce, consider 5 to 10 chilies. Add 4 cups of water to the pot and boil for 20 minutes. Place all ingredients with its liquid into a blender. Add a 1/4 cup of white vinegar, 1 teaspoon kosher salt, 1 teaspoon ground cumin, cracked black pepper, and a few sprigs of fresh oregano, just the leaves. Pulse for a few seconds, then blend on high until smooth. Place in the fridge until the next day to allow those flavors to marry.
Okay, so when it comes to the type of bread used for tortas, usually it's either a bolillo or a telera, but when we're talking about torta ahogada, we need something that is going to be super crusty and able to withstand being dunked in this tomato chili broth. So today we're making birote. Birote is really the type of bread you want for this sandwich because as you can tell, it has that nice crusty outside, and even though it's nice and chewy on the inside, it's not going to fall apart because of this crusty exterior. Let me show you how to make it right now.
Let's make the starter for the birote. In a bowl, add 1.5 cups all-purpose flour or bread flour. To that, add 2 teaspoons of instant yeast and 1 cup water. Mix until combined. Note that the mixture will be sticky. Cover with plastic wrap and place in a warm place to proof for at least 6 hours. Punch down the dough and set aside. In the bowl of a stand mixer, add 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Add 1 tablespoon of instant yeast, 1 tablespoon of flaky sea salt, the starter dough, and 1 1/4 cups of warm water. Mix for 5 minutes. Mixture will still be quite sticky, but no worries, this is normal for this dough. Place the dough into a bowl, cover with a kitchen towel, and allow it to proof for 1 hour or until doubled in size. Once doubled in size, punch down the dough and place on the countertop. Divide dough into quarters. Dust your work surface with flour and place a piece of the dough on top. Knead lightly, then flatten into a rectangle. Fold in the ends, then roll the dough from each end. Now listen, it doesn't have to be perfect because all will be forgiven once it's baked. Place on a sheet tray and with a sharp knife, cut a slit on top of the bread. Then brush the dough with salted water, which is 1 teaspoon of salt to a 1/4 cup of water.
Now, one thing I have to mention that is essential in achieving that crusty exterior is preheating the oven with a pan that is filled with water so that it would release that moisture in the oven. And that moisture is critical because that's what's going to give us that real crusty exterior.
Like I said, all is forgiven. Hear that sound? Let's prepare our torta filling, skirt steak. You can also use flank or flat iron steak. Add a little olive oil to the steak, then season with your favorite spice mix. I'm using a combination of chili powder, smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, brown sugar, dried oregano, and salt and pepper. Rub the spice mix thoroughly into the steak. Do the same for the other side. Place the steak on a hot grill or cast iron pan and cook to the desired doneness. Let the meat rest for 10 minutes, then thinly cut the steak against the grain of the meat. This will break down the connective tissue and give you a more tender steak. Reheat the chili sauce and get ready to assemble. Cut the birote in half. Do you hear that crunchiness, people? That's when you know you did it right. Remove some of the bread to allow room for your fillings. To the bottom half of the bread, add a slathering of refried beans. Top with the grilled steak. I'm adding some grilled red onions and shredded Oaxaca cheese, which is like Mexican mozzarella. Place the torta on a sheet tray and broil until the cheese is melted and the roll is super crusty. Meanwhile, ladle some of that tomato chili broth into a bowl. Remove the torta from the oven. Cut it in half. Then sit the torta right in the middle of that wonderful tomato chili broth.
Let's take a bite. Chili sauce has that wonderful tomato flavor, kicked up the notch with that chili arbol. If you don't like spicy, I suggest you tone it down to 10, maybe even 5 chili arbol. I like it how it is. I like the spice. My lips are tingling right now, but it's a wonderful tingling. You know what I mean. Let's go in for another dip. Buen provecho. Hey, if you really like this video, don't forget to like and share and click that subscribe button and notification bell so you can stay up to date on all new content. And remember, food can look good, but if it doesn't taste good, then your cooking is in vain. So make it sabroso.